All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Take Three podcast. As always, I'm Alex, joined by my co host Brandon, and we're reacting to the 2021 NBA Finals. We're recording this Tuesday night after game one. We're going to have a live reaction episode after every game, and it was a good one. The Suns came out ready to defend home court. Chris Paul got going in the second half. They managed to secure a 118 to 105 W over the Milwaukee Bucks. And I think we're in for an exciting NBA Finals. So, I'm just going to go ahead and toss it over to Brandon. What were your initial thoughts watching Game One?
I think after as the game went on and on, I kind of felt like this is kind of the classic, the classic home team game one of the NBA Finals. I don't really count last year. Last year wasn't even in a home arena, but it was kind of just like this is what was expected, what I kind of expected when the initial line was like 6.5. I honestly said I would feel comfortable taking the Suns minus 6.5. This is before the Giannis news. I think even with the Giannis, because it's just like it's the theme lately. Like the home team usually comes out and they take control. I mean, the LeBron Warriors one when they went to OT, that was kind of the different one where it wasn't like that. But this is kind of the classic home team game in my eyes. Um, I think the Bucks they started to make adjustments, which we'll get into in a little bit. But they started to adjust. It was too late. They already gave up a lot of bunnies. There's big free throw disparity. I don't know. I didn't really catch the first quarter as I was cooking some dinner, trying to get home and get everything going on that. But there was a huge free throw disparity. Well, not really huge. I mean, it closed at 26-16. But I mean, for one point, it was like the Suns had 20 free throws to 5, I think it was, for the Bucks. So I mean, a couple of guys I talked to said it was kind of a touchy whistle that the Suns were getting. It's kind of that home team gets a little bit of touchy whistle at game one. I expect game two it'll tighten up. I think you'll see they'll let them play a little bit more. But I mean, yeah, CP3, what a hell of a performance for your first NBA Finals game, right? He came out, didn't do anything in the first quarter, but to put up 32 through the final three is pretty good. Devin Booker got his. I was impressed with DeAndre Ayton. He was hungry on the boards. He was kind of doing his thing when they had Brooke Lopez down there. He was just, I mean, he's a more athletic guy at the end of the day. So he was doing his thing.
Definitely, definitely. Aiton was fantastic this game, and it did kind of feel like a classic Game One home team kind of take it. As for the whistle disparity, it kind of evened out in the end, but like especially in the first half, Middleton had no free throws and Devin Booker was getting the superstar whistle calls. And he deserves it. He's shown that he is going to be a superstar in this league. If not, he's already there. But yeah, Booker was getting the ticky tack barely touch calls, and then like on the other end of the floor, like right after we saw Crowder bumping Middleton, it was like a very similar play, and Middleton did not get the whistle at all. So it definitely kind of leaned towards the Suns to start. That's not the reason why they won. They simply outplayed him. Chris Paul did start slow, but he really got going in the second half. I think Chris Paul is in for a phenomenal series in his finals. I think he wants it. He wants it bad for sure. But it was a fun start. We saw some adjustments kind of made in the second half. The Bucks kind of switched to Giannis at the 5, taking Lopez and Portis out. They seemed comfortable to start the game with all the switching on the guards. So the Bucks have a pretty good defensive roster. The Suns are number 1 and the Bucks are number 2 when it comes to defense for the postseason teams this year. And like Drew and PJ Tucker are pretty much as good as it gets to defend Book and CP3, but those are just like world class elite offensive talent. So even with Holiday and PJ Tucker on them, they're still going to get theirs. I think they both scored at least 27 points. I think Chris Paul had a little bit more than that. But it seemed that the Bucks need to make some adjustments. Giannis only played 35 minutes. I know he's coming off that injury, but he looked healthy. He looked good. He had that beautiful chase down block reminiscent of LeBron against the Warriors. So there are some adjustments to be made. If I'm the Bucks, I'm going to try and figure out a way to get more minutes for Giannis at the 5 because that seemed to be working in the second half, playing Bryn Forbes and Pat Connaughton out there. But if you were the Bucks, what adjustments would you be trying to make?
I mean, just to go back on the free throw thing, Middleton didn't shoot a free throw all night. That's crazy when I looked at the box score. But I mean, yeah, you kind of you led me right into it. I think PJ Tucker is a good defender. I don't think he has the lateral quickness to play in a series like this. He's physical, right? He's known for being physical. You can see it and they can't do the drop coverage. The drop coverage just to go out the window because when they're doing the drop coverage, it was just getting beat up, right? You're giving CP3, you're giving Devin Booker, they're getting straight to the elbow. Those guys are going to hit mid-range jumpers from the elbow. So, I mean, I think I like where you're going. I would definitely run Giannis at the 5. I mean, I just wish he had a post game or some kind. It's weird when he throws in 3-pointers, but then he won't shoot a mid-range jump shot. It kind of drives me crazy when I watch him throw in 3-pointers, but then not even attempt. I mean, they were giving him middies. Ayton was just backing off. But I
Yeah,
mean,
and he would either take it out and try and drive, and that works like 50% of the time when you're going against Ayton, who's like one of the few dudes who are big enough to actually defend him.
if he would do the classic step out and charge in, and it's just like, I don't, if a guy's standing there at the basket, another grown man that's 7 foot tall, it's like, I don't know if that works in transition when you have like a full head of steam in that aspect when they're not set, but he's set. But yeah, I would probably run Giannis at the 5. And then I don't know if Brook Lopez could even play. He gives you buckets, but he's so slow. He's getting just abused on the defensive end. So I would have Giannis at the 5, more Bryn Forbes, more Connaughton, and just surround Giannis with shooters. And then because Giannis gives you that versatility when they try to do the switches, right? Because I would get rid of the drop coverage, and then he's more versatile. I'd rather have him switch on to a guy like Booker or CP3 than have PJ Tucker, who's just physical but lacks lateral quickness, and then obviously Brook Lopez, he's cooked. He's barbecue if he gets put on a switch like that, as well as Bobby Portis. I don't even know if Bobby Portis like can play on the defensive end. He was getting served up. It's weird. It's like an uphill battle.
Definitely, Portis and Lopez are kind of similar in their skill set offensively, but they kind of have the same defensive like weaknesses. And the drop coverage is a really good point because you're going against a Suns backcourt that both of them are elite mid-range shooters. So if you give them those jumpers, they're going to make majority of them, and you're going to end up losing, kind of like how we saw tonight. Now, Giannis at the 5 is a good adjustment. You do want to run those lineups out longer, but the Suns were basically matched them once they got Ayton, Chris Paul, and Booker all on the floor again. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out the rest of the series. I do think you need more Giannis at the 5, but it's when Ayton's out there, it's hard. Giannis is doing a lot offensively and defensively, so you're asking a lot for the guy. Now, if you're the Suns and Monty Williams, I thought he made a great adjustment in the 4th, leaving Cam Johnson out there instead of Jay Crowder. Cam Johnson only shot the ball 6 times, but he was 3 of 6, 50%. And like this young guy can like really play. I've really enjoyed watching him. I feel like he needs to get a few more open shots if that's possible. He just shoots the basketball at a great clip every single series, and he did it again today. So like, if you're Monty Williams, do you go into game 2, make adjustments, or do you kind of just go out there and do what you do again? Because it seemed to work. You had a 13-point win.
Yeah, I mean, just one more point on the Bucks. I would probably what they did a couple times towards the end was they trapped on those screens. They trapped on the screens and then they would force Ayton. But I mean, a guy like Pat Connaughton, he's going to have to rotate and stop Ayton at the free throw line and make DeAndre Ayton make a decision. Don't let CP3 and Devin Booker beat you. But if you trap off that screen and make Ayton then make a decision, I think he fired up like an air ball on a little floater when they trapped him before. So they definitely, I mean, it's going to be an uphill battle. Like it literally is. The Suns they're rolling at all cylinders. But I mean, to Monty Williams, yeah, I mean, I would say he probably just rolls with what he has. I mean, Cam Johnson, I like Cam Johnson. He's an IQ guy. They were even covering how smart he is doing his thesis in the middle of the NBA Finals. He's an IQ guy, but I think they'll still just go with Jay Crowder just because the experience factor. Though I'm not a huge Jay Crowder guy. I mean, the guy shot 0 of 8, 0 of 5 from 3. It's kind of like Jay Crowder tosses in and he's got to try and play hero ball when it's not there, but he has the experience factor that I guess he's been here. But I mean,
Jay Crowder's shooting is interesting. He did that last game or last series as well. But then he kind of has the one game where he shoots really well, which against the Clippers was the closeout game. And I could see Jay Crowder having an 0 for 8 stat line 3 out of 4 games. There'll be one NBA Finals game where Jay Crowder shows up and shoots like 4 for 4 or 5 for 5 from 3 while giving you good defense.
Exactly. And I mean, that's where Monty Williams will see Cam Johnson sprinkling him in. He's a longer term guy because obviously, I mean, with Booker and Ayton there, they're going to be there for a while. But Cam Johnson is one of those long term guys. You get him that experience. but you continue to roll with Jay Crowder just because you said he'll fire in that random game where he's just on and can't miss, and he kind of helps you. I liked Michael Bridges a lot as well. I mean, I'm a big Bridges guy, even since the Sixers gave up on him and made that swing. But I mean, I don't know. The Suns, they look like a buzzsaw. I thought the Suns going in would win the series. This is, I mean, obviously I didn't know anything about Giannis's status, but I just kind of felt they have everything rolling at the right time. And as you said, CP3 is hungry. And this is kind of both teams that realize like this is the year to do it.
Definitely, kind of feels like a Suns destiny type year with Chris Paul. I mean, this is like his 16th season, and he's been so close so many times. I don't see him letting this opportunity go. Like I think he'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah, I agree as well. It's just kind of weird how the Bucks got here running that drop coverage shit too. It's like I don't. That's crazy how they got through the Nets doing that.
Injuries definitely helped. Same with the Hawks series because Trae Young was eating them up with that drop coverage.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Monty Williams, I think they have the Suns also on top of everything have a huge coaching advantage.
Yep.
Monty Williams, I think, is a much superior coach than Bud, and he showed it. I think the Cam Johnson playing was great, and even with Ayton, like you said, they switched on Ayton at the end, kind of and he had that air ball, but like that's just a hard lineup to play for that many minutes because like Brook Lopez is gonna play 20 to 30 minutes a game probably. Bobby Portis will still get a little bit of run. Who knows? He didn't really play against the Nets, so they could cut him out of the rotation. I think this is the first series where the Bucks are really gonna miss DiVincenzo because he would have been another guard to have on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, with Dante DiVincenzo, I was talking about it in a group chat. We were all discussing it. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna miss him. He's a rebounder, defender, and he can shoot the ball. Right, that's more one more athletic guy on the wing, a guard that you can use to get a surround with Giannis and get a guy like PJ Tucker or Brook Lopez less minutes and have him run more. So yeah, you're spot on with that.
Yeah, it would unlock more minutes for Giannis at the 5. I just think that's the Bucks' biggest problem is figuring out how long can they play a lineup with Giannis at the 5? Because not only does like Giannis need some rest, but like you can't keep Connaughton and Forbes out there the whole time. Forbes gets eaten alive defensively.
Yep.
Like they were they were getting Lopez to switch on the guards. Forbes is not exactly an answer. I mean, it's a more efficient lineup for sure, but like Chris Paul's going to eat Forbes alive. Same with Booker. Like Drew Holiday can only guard so many people at once. And especially if the Suns are going to get those whistles that they did. Booker was getting those superstar whistles, deservedly so, I might add. It's going to be an uphill battle for the Bucks. I am rooting for the Bucks. I want them to win. I don't think they do, to be honest. If I had to predict this series, I would say Suns in 6. That's what my brain tells me. My heart wants Bucks in 7, but I think it's going to be Suns in 6.
Yeah, I mean, obviously going forward game 2, I think, yeah, the whistle will be tighter. You're not going to see, I mean, it's the NBA Finals. I think they'll start to let the guys play and the touchy stuff. I mean, if I had to predict, I said in a group chat today or a couple days even before today, I said Suns in 5 without knowing Giannis. I mean, watching tonight, I don't know if the YMCA head coach is going to be smart enough to make it because, I mean, they really have an option. They have to trap the screens. They can't really switch because obviously Bryn Forbes, who is good on the offensive end, he's going to get torn up on the defensive end. So it's really trap the screens, stop Ayton at the free throw line and force him to make a decision and kick to another guy. And then you just rotate. It's a lot of rotations, but I don't know if Coach Bud is I don't know if he's up to the task on this stage. I think that might be the biggest like difference. Like the teams, like I'd say the Suns as a complete team are better, but the coaching like disparity it's so far in the Suns' favor that it's scary.
Agreed. I think it's like elite coaching compared to like a little bit above average coaching at best. But like if I'm trying to be optimistic for the Bucks, I would say Drew Holiday is going to shoot better than 4 of 14, and then Middleton finished 12 of 26. But I have it written down. He started the first half 5 of 13, so he didn't shoot the ball well in the first, and he came alive in the second half. And really, if the Bucks are going to have a chance, they need Holiday to shoot better, but they need Middleton to play well the whole time, all 45 minutes that he's on the court. He needs to play well. And then Giannis only shot the ball 11 times. You got to get him closer looks. Like you got to find a way to switch, get the switches going so you can get Aiton off him in the paint and try to get some easy buckets.
Yeah, I just it's tough because I don't think the Suns are really. I mean, the Suns are willing to just set up at the basket and say, "Come on in and charge," right? Like they're willing. If Giannis is going to hit 3-pointers and fire in jump shots and be Steph Curry, then I think they're willing to say, "Yeah, go for it." Right? We'll go down that way. And it's just in the NBA Finals on the grand stage, you really start to see in the playoffs, like the grand stage, you start to see parts of his game that he's really going to have to work on. He's at least going to have to work on a mid-range jumper, kind of like get a shot like Anthony Davis or Joel Embiid, where you can hit that shot consistently. Or, I mean, if he wants to go full circle, I would work on a post game because if he gets a post game, he's dangerous because then you can just post him up and then you have the shooters around him, and it
I,
becomes lethal.
I agree completely. It reminds me of the young LeBron James. If you go back and watch the '07 finals when the Spurs swept him, Pop made him shoot jump shots. That was the defensive game plan. Just don't let him get to the rim because he was so deadly in transition and driving to the basket, just like Giannis. But then you fast forward to the 2013 finals when he's on the Heat and he's playing the Spurs again. If you go to the end of Game 7, LeBron ices the Spurs by dribbling down and hitting mid-range jumper after mid-range jumper. So maybe if Giannis can develop a mid-range or a post game, like you're saying, he can figure it out. But it just reminds me of a young LeBron, and if you don't let him drive to the rim, he can't really do much.
Yeah, they look stagnant, uh, sort of stagnant in the half court at times. So, I mean, what else can we say? I mean, we just gotta kick back, gotta see what they're gonna do. Got to see. I mean, obviously they're gonna get the ice on the knee, get the knee ready, go work out in the secret gym, and I mean, we'll be ready for Thursday night. I'm
Definitely, it's going to be an exciting series. So, is that your official prediction? Suns in 5.
Yep, I'm gonna say yep. Suns in 5. I think it'll be a close game. Game 2, they'll take that. Um, the Bucks will get a game at home, and then they'll come back to Phoenix and just kind of. It's
Wow.
kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like that humbling thing, right? Like this is Giannis's first trip to the finals. It's like he's gonna realize it's not easy. I mean, I expect him to put the work in, right? He seems dedicated to the game. I'm not a huge like Giannis fan overall, but he's dedicated to the game of basketball, and I mean, he has the tools. So it's like he'll go. It seems it's kind of like spot on, like you said, the young LeBron thing. '07, you get to the finals and you run into a buzzsaw and you get humbled against a gritty, I mean, veteran, kind of a veteran team. Like CP3 is there waiting for you. He kind of runs it. Obviously, Devin Booker isn't, but it's like Monty Williams has been around. So it's, yeah, I'm going to stick Suns in 5.
Wow. I would not be surprised if that's the actual outcome. The Suns are a buzzsaw. They seem destined to win this year, to be honest. I'm going to go ahead and give the Bucks one more game and say Suns in 6, but I definitely think this is the Suns championship. And the Bucks will be back, though. You're right. Giannis is dedicated. I think he is the type of dude that puts in the work in the offseason, just like LeBron. And he's eventually gonna be a champion, I believe. But for now, we're gonna be rooting for the Suns. I think they close it out fast in either 5 or 6. And do you have any closing thoughts heading into Game 2?
Not at all. It's Coach Bud. Get your game tape ready. We just gave you the blueprint. Tune in, and I mean, well, Monty Williams tunes in as well. It's like that's not going to happen. But now, I mean, I'm ready for game 2. I'm ready to see what adjustments. And obviously, I think it'll be a closer game. I don't think we're getting another blowout Thursday. I think it's going to be a good competitive game.
Yes, sir. I agree, and I think that's it for us tonight. Thank you again. This is the Take 3 podcast, and we'll be back Thursday night for another reaction when the Suns are up 2-0 on the Milwaukee Bucks.